Welcome race fans to NAGP GT1 Thursday night. I'm Jack Ivy and I'm along here with...
How you doing tonight, Jack?
Doing fine, recovered well from last Monday night's fiasco and all set to resume the big rundown for the GT1 class tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Monday, but it's good to be back here on Thursday night with you. This should be another good race. Last week was a real happy race for David Canavan.
Yeah.
At the Valencia GP circuit tonight.
Yeah, we've raced there before at NAGP. I've had one race at this track. What can you tell us about the track?
It's actually a lot of fun. You get some elevation changes, lots of corners, a big long straight. You could a couple different lines and make some passes. You know, you can make moves on guys, and if they leave you a little room, you got some real good close racing through here.
Yeah, there's a couple of tricky corners there. That corner 12, I don't know, I'm going to mispronounce it. Champi Herios. Boy, that can really get you sideways and off the track in a big hurry. Yeah,
that right hand kind of up the hill, sharp right hand up the hill, and then you got that long sweeping 13. Then it ends with a sharp downhill left onto the main straight. So you throw those places where you want to get on the power as soon as you can, use all you can of that straight. But yeah, 14 turn track. We're in Spain.
Yeah, that turn 14's always been a tough one for me. Real tight and hard to get the power down before the big long straightaway.
Can be tricky. Well, we're just getting started in qualifying here. No one's laid down the lap yet, so we're not missing anything. 25 minutes of qualifying. Everybody just now getting ready to start turning in their numbers. It was pretty hot during the warm-up. It was like, 115 degrees in the warm-up, so these guys got to practice using the hard slicks. Temperatures tonight dropped down to 84 degrees for qualifying, so looks like ideal temperatures for everybody tonight. Don't know about the chances of rain for the race, but we'll find that out when we get there, huh?
Yeah, the prediction was for a low chance of rain, which doesn't surprise me, being I believe in Spain where the oranges grow. Never rains in Spain on the plane. And we were predicted to go 63 laps tonight.
63 laps in an hour and a half. That's about right. Running about a minute, 30 laps roughly.
Yeah, the practice times have all been pretty good, but I know these guys, they always pull the hammer out at the last minute, and you can expect some really low times going into this qualifying.
Yeah, this track, what am I thinking here? You know, I don't think we'll see a big spread in lap times with these guys, probably within just a few seconds is all. I think everybody's raced here and has enough track time. They know the track well. And first out right now with the fastest lap time is David Pohl. So I didn't get any history on what qualifying times were when they were here before, but that 27.7 for David Pohl looking pretty good.
Yeah, that's about 3 seconds faster than they were doing in practice. So they're really stepping up the pace here tonight. Well, I talked earlier this evening with David Canavan, last week's winner, and he has had, I don't know if he's lying or just trying to throw everybody off. He says he's had no practice at all at this track and no setup going into qualifying. So we'll have to wait and see what David Canavan does out there. Andre Prado came in second at Spa, and Brad Maris in third.
So needless to say, those guys will be carrying a little extra weight around here tonight. Might find a little more abrasive on the tires with that extra weight, but I don't think it'll be a real problem. There are a lot of twists and turns, so they want to conserve those tires a little bit. can be a little abrasive here.
Yeah, there is a bunch of weight out there tonight. I don't know if you saw the all the weight everybody's carrying around or not. But there is a pile of weight going out in success weight and a pile going out on penalties this week.
Yeah, I was looking down that penalty list. So some guys got a little carried away and looks like on their re-entries at Spa. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people carrying weight for reckless rejoins for the lockdown roll. So John Sportelli is going to be carrying 40 kilograms. Scott Andrew, 40 kilograms. Marty Urine also going to be carrying 40 kilograms. And Paul Hall, all for reckless rejoins. Or one person I think had a failure to slow for an incident, but yeah.
Yeah, and with Marty Urine, he is going to be carrying a total of, if I'm not mistaken, 88.
That's pretty much winner's weight, isn't it?
Pretty much, and that's what it looks like. Brad Maris is going to be carrying 44. Prado, I've got Prado down for 154. 154 pounds. 154 pounds, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I guess it does. He will have 150 feet listed right there right now. He's sitting I just saw him. He was 11th, so somebody jumped him. Let's see, where'd he go? Moved up to 8th with 154 pounds on the car.
That's going to be tough carrying that much weight around there, but that's what you get when you're up at the top of the list.
That's what can happen.
Just following Christian Hamilton. He has jumped up into P8 right now. But that Andre Prado, he has really turned it up this season. He is in the Drivers' Championship. He is only 4 points behind. No surprise. Aaron Parsons, who's in first place. Brad Maris is in third. David Pohl in fourth. David Canavan in fifth. Thiago Slippery Canola in fifth. Chris, the Pit Wizard Moses, is in seventh. John Sportelli in eighth. Juan Monroy in ninth. And Gregory Myers rounding out the top 10 in drivers.
Yeah, it looks like Thiago sitting second in qualifying right now. He's taking out his frustrations that he had there on Monday night. He's only, what, 400s off? David Pohl at the moment for top spot.
Yeah, we also have a couple of no quals. That would be Chuck Carter and Mark O'Connie.
I'm going to be sitting on the sidelines tonight watching everybody else qualifying. I like qualifying. Qualifying to me is one of the best parts of the night. You get out there and you try your hardest. And for me, I like to get out and try qualifying. It doesn't mean necessarily do good, but it's fun to get out there and try, right?
Absolutely. I absolutely am terrible at qualifying. You know, especially when you start near the back of the pack, it can be frustrating at times when you get some of these better drivers who've got a no qual and have to start behind you. You know they're powering their way through.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep your eye on the front and the back of the car at the same time when you know there's faster people coming through.
Boy, just cycling through the group here. Curtis, and I see Gregory Myers down into P20. A little surprised at that.
Don't make me say it, but we know that Greg isn't exactly the quickest qualifier out there, but he'll, I expect him to probably move up 4 or 5 spots before the night's over. In typical Greg fashion, he'll probably start back there around 12th, 15th in there, I'm guessing. As he does every night, work his way up in the race.
Absolutely, that's quite a smooth driver. Isn't going to surprise me no matter where he starts. 10'd up. Very close to the top 10, if not in the top 10, which he quite often is.
I think we got Gubster substituting tonight in one of the Salines. I saw something about him on the forums earlier, about him borrowing a car, if I'm not wrong about that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think he is in the Celine, and he's currently in P27. And got her in the garage to make a few adjustments to it. David Pohl still hanging on to the P1 spot.
Haven't heard from the Paul Hall crowd of supporters out there on the channel tonight, but Paul is out there doing his best, getting a good lap in qualifying.
Yeah, Paul had the Mad Croc group rooting for him last week, and maybe that's what caused him to want to rejoin the group a little prematurely last week. Got himself into a little bit of trouble.
Peer pressure got him. See, we're following David Pohl around on his lap. He's what, 3/10 quicker than his pole lap, so looks like they'll just let him by. Carrying a lot of speed out of that corner. He's at the going to be going down the hill here.
He's hot. He's about 100th of a second below his time now.
Coming up on the turn 12 there, that's that sharp right-hander up the hill. Then the sweeping turn 13 down into Adrian Campos.
Wow, 127.326. Great lap and a beautiful car, that McLaren.
Should follow live instead of following it on the TV, huh?
And Thiago Canola in P2.
About half a second behind, huh?
Yeah, real close there.
GT1 Ford. Still real close in this time, like you say, yeah.
He might have caught a bit of a draft off that car. Hope it didn't hold him up, though.
But if you put enough fuel in the car, you know, tires still be perfect. Temps being where they are.
This is looking good here. Two and a half 100ths of a second off that time.
Yeah, a couple 100 seconds off there. But he'll open a little clearer track this time. He might have a better chance at it.
Well, it looks like he's a little off the split time there.
Come up here on the second split. I think it's now in the middle of this next section here. Way slower, so
yep. Thiago, time to put that one back in the garage. Get another fresh set of tires. No surprise, just popped over to P3. Chris Moses.
Yeah, I think he just now came out. He's sitting in the garage making some changes.
Following around now with Mr. Aaron Parsons, currently sitting in P5. A little wide on that corner.
Pushing hard, gets the car a little squirrely up on those curves.
He sure is pushing hard.
minutes left in qualifying. No big surprises yet. I parked it. But got the usual names up there, top 10.
Heck, Kevin Savoy.
Number 10 there being Jared Key.
Oh, way to go, Jared. P3, Kevin Savoy.
Last week's winner, David Canavan. He tends to save his best lap from the last lap, so we'll hang on to keep an eye out on David, though.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chris and Aaron and David are going to be that last lap, make a difference, run at it.
Perfectly, you know, when you have about 4 minutes, 3 minutes left out there of qualifying. All the rubber's getting laid, you've got a nice sticky track. Time that right, get a good lap in there.
We got Ian Joliker out there tonight in P6. And Marty, with all that weight, he has still got that McLaren fired up to P7.
Right now, the only two guys in the 27s being David and Thiago. And I think those are, neither one of them are carrying weight. First person carrying weight is Marty with that 88 pounds.
Christian Hamilton up to P9. That's a good position for Christian. And as you said, Jared Keane, P10, my Monday night teammate. Go, Jared, go. I just hope he's got a stable setup for the race. And Andre Prato's carrying all that weight. 154 pounds back in P11. That is going to hurt that car, probably both during qualifying and during the race. That's going to wear on those tires, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you want weight because that means you're doing good and you're winning, but you don't want that much weight.
Well, especially when the Drivers' Championship is only 4 points apart. And the Anger Racing team, which Prado and Maris are both teammates in, are out in front in the team championship with 149 points. Over top of T, broke Bam Bam with 113 points.
Last week's 2-3 for Anger Racing moved them up, or pretty much solidified their spot so far in the teams. 38 points is a big chunk of points to get in one night.
Yeah, just on board now with P12, David Canavan, last week's winner. That's how he does coming up to the split.
Couple seconds off this time to finish up previous laps, so it seems to be better. Still about a second off.
Don't think that's going to be enough.
Fast guys in practice apparently.
Going around the final turn. And parked it. P13, Lauren Weisman coming out for his out lap with Juan Monroy. Mark O'Connor sitting back at P16.
Looks like David pulled up the ante a little bit with a 127.172.
Looks like Pole's got this track figured out. Bjorn Heyman back in P18. And Salem Montgomery Jr. back in P19. It did look like we've got 4 or 5 cars all lining up in the pit row, getting ready to come out for a run. Sam
They'll be putting in just enough gas, and got 4 minutes left in qualifying. Just enough to get the sticky part of the track, try to do their best laps here. So the only downside of that is you can run into a lot of traffic, so you don't want to save it for that. But
yeah, it's always nice to get a good lap in as early as you can, and then you're just racing to better that time rather than hope for clear track on the last gasp. Big Al Merriman, he's back in P22. Looks like, oh, Al, sorry, broadcaster's curse, Al, he just lost into the kitty litter.
That's like 3 already.
Johnny Mack back in P23. And Liquid Lou Mascarelli back in P24. Andre Cole in P25. John Waffen back in P26. Cup Douglas in P27. Scott Andrew, P28. I think they're on the no quals. And Paul Hall. Mad Croc Corvette, P29. And of course, I'm in P31. I'm last.
Well, let's hope either one of us get a chance to get points tonight. We've had a couple races with some high attrition in them.
Whoa, Thiago was out on a hot lap. Looked like he ran into a Celine. That might put an end to his run for the pole position.
Now with 247, he's quick. He might be able to pull it off. There's a little bit of lag, but that would be 3 minutes. He'd have to get out right now. Looks like he's not going to bother.
Chris Moses out on his out lap. Looks like he's going to get one more hot lap in.
Chris is not on the clock yet, but close. For some reason, Thiago's going to go out again. I put a time in, but
yeah, it looks like Chris has pretty much timed this perfectly. It doesn't surprise me. He always seems to have an excellent handle on what's going on in and around with the game and the circuit itself. Coming around for the start-finish to start his hot lap. And off wide on that first turn. And he got punched out of the way by another driver. Boy, oh boy, Chris will not be happy about that.
No, he won't.
Aaron Parsons out for another try here. He's on his hot lap now.
Yeah, he'll be able to get a time in. Let's see how his split comes up here. 300 slower, that won't help him out much.
Off pretty wide on that corner. He is really pushing that Ferrari around.
Yes, looks like we did just lost Marco.
Well, he'll have time to join back up in the rejoin.
Time's just now ended, so we'll see if doesn't move up, still sits in 5th, and Ian looks like he's the only one left on a lap, but he's 700 slow, so can pretty much give this pole to David Pohl.
Absolutely. I'm on the main board, and there it is, folks. That'll pretty much be it for the starting position. Ian jumps up to P4.
Oh, he does. He moves in front of Chris.
as I said earlier, Chris got bumped off on his last hot lap. He won't be happy about that one, but good last gasp effort from Ian Jolicoeur. Well, any surprises out there for you?
Well, I don't want to, if you say surprises, the guys might take it wrong. But I'm going to say right now, for my surprise right there, is going to be Jared Keane, sitting there in 11th, ahead of David Canavan. And Laurent, who's shown good pace. So I'm going to say Jared. Good spot there for him in 11th.
Yeah, that is a great qualifying effort from Jared. Like I mentioned earlier, Jared's put in some good, solid qualifying efforts this year. It's just a matter of him getting his race pace down. I know his race pace isn't going to be quite where he is right now, but if he can get a good, stable setup, he should end up in the points. And we just had Nick Johnson join.
I did see his name pop up there real quick, and it's like...
Well, this just got really interesting. Really, really interesting. Now, there's a dark horse.
Starting from the back.
And boy, that guy can drive the rubber off a car, can't he?
He can. He's been quick. He's had some problems with pits and starting, but once you get him going on the track, he's real fast.
Yeah, was he just sandbagging that? Was he practicing offline, waiting to join up? I don't think so. He's fast enough. He would be up there in the top. He'd be starting from up at the front there. I think he'd want to be right into the thick of it with Poole, Canola, Savoie, Jolicoeur, and Moses. Definitely. And another one on the leaderboard there, Lou Mascarelli. He's in the point money right now at P16. He's going to start at.
Well, that was a pretty quick qualifying. They're all 25 minutes, but some just seem to go faster than others. And that one, David Poole pretty much just dominated that qualifying. He was up by almost half a second, and he laid down the fast lap right off the bat and held on to it the whole session. So.
Yeah, he bettered his time a couple of times during the session, but you're right. He had P1 from the get-go and never let it go. But it's
and what I tell you about Greg Myers there sitting in 13th, you knew he'd bump it up there and get up there. So
yeah, he'll be right on Canavan's bumper, and the two of them are probably going to make some inroads. I'm going to say they'll make some inroads in the next 4 or 5 positions, probably in the first 10, 15 laps. A little bit of a surprise to see Rob Taylor down in 21st. Rob, if I'm not mistaken, Rob had a pretty good race last week.
Trying to remember where he's at. I can always find it real quick here. Where did Rob end up at Spa last week? 9th. He ended 9th in that Nissan.
Yeah, he had that Nissan motoring around there pretty good. Mind you, it was a wet track, so I'm not sure. Maybe he's a wet track driver.
He was, let's see here, his best lap time last week. Well, he started way back in the pack. He was 24th in the race last week, so that was a really good drive on to move that up to 9th to get that top 10.
Absolutely.
Competitive lap times too. I think his best lap time was 2:20 versus the fastest lap for the winner, 2:19. So he had the pace, and he just had a little bit better luck.
Yeah, that was a great finish for Rob.
Well, again, here in Spain, wonderful temperatures for the warm-up, 80 degrees. Hang out by the track, 65-degree air temp. Sunny forecast, sunny conditions.
Yep, the warm-up, they'll just be going out to make sure they've got their setups all as they want them, and most of the drivers usually take this opportunity to acquaint themselves with the pit entrance.
Yeah, the other people join us from the Quality 2 section. Mark McConaughey made it back in. Chuck Carter, Tommy Atkins also made it. Nick Johnson, so we'll keep an eye on. Yeah, definitely Marco, Chuck, and Nick. Tony, you know, he's still working on some pace, so we'll definitely keep an eye on him too.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting at the start of this one. I think this is going to be a real barn burner tonight.
Well, it's a good racetrack. It's not, you know, it's not like you have a whole bunch of straights and then a chicane, a whole bunch of straights and a chicane. These guys are gonna be pretty much bunched up for probably a good 10-15 laps, but you'll start getting into the back markers, and then yeah, you'll got to deal with that track position. So yeah, it should be a good race. It could be a busy racetrack with a lot of cars on it.
Yeah, and as we've seen in the previous races so far, these guys are battling for every position on the track, so there's good racing going all over. And maybe a good opportunity just to put a shout out to anybody. NAGP, we race Mondays, we race Thursdays, and the new Champ Car Series starting up on Saturdays. If you want to get involved, contact one of the admins, get yourself all set up, and come on out and race with us.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of practicing last night with Champ Car Mod. Got the Lolas from what era? I can't remember now. 2005, I think? 2006 era Lolas?
I think you're right. And they're extremely quick. And it looks like they've adjusted some of the damage on them so that they're not going to be as fragile as they were before. But they are a handful to drive. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come on out and join us on Saturdays.
And if you like to play with setups, you can adjust almost anything on those cars. They made them infinitely adjustable, weight balance, weight percentages. Obviously, the numbers are everywhere. So if you like to adjust cars, get in on the Saturday League and race those Lolas.
Yeah, and just a little tip on the Saturdays too. Those guys are pretty much wide open on sharing their setups there on Saturdays. I mean, ask for help and the guys will help you get the car set up. And that's all they're looking for is good competitive racing. I think it's going to be an exciting series, something new for us here. So go on out and join us.
Smooth driving. I think those are going to be the key to racing those racing on Saturday. Quick but smooth. You don't want to be one of the pedal mashers.
No, they can sure turn the rubber on those things fast if you get on the gas a little easy. Another little shout out I'd just like to put out there, Curtis, is we run on donations. So if you're watching this broadcast or you're one of the racers in the league, come on, dig into your pocketbook, throw a few dollars at us. Let's keep the league going. It's probably one of the most competitive, most fun leagues in sim racing at the moment.
Yeah, if looking around, you'll see that NAGP is probably one of the biggest groups of people, and a lot of these guys have been around quite a long time. Yeah, so yeah, jump up on the NorthAmericanGP.com and sign up, find the link, make a donation, enjoy the racing, enjoy the mods, everything. It's a good little good place to be.
Well, warm-up's just about done. Do you want to run down the lineup before we get caught out? Because there's quite a few drivers tonight.
Yeah, we gotta wait till they switch. These guys have put in times, but I know who's on pole.
Well, then
that's what I was doing. When I was being quiet, I was writing it down. See how I am? So yeah, I'll do the top 5 here.
Well, then I'll mess.
Pole position.
I think they switched it over there, or have they? No, they haven't. So if you don't have them all,
we missed it last week, didn't we?
We didn't quite get them all in. We had a few issues last week. I think we're going to try and keep our eyes on the ball a little better this week.
We missed the start and we missed the finish. That was quality, wasn't it?
Nothing but professionalism here at NHGP TV, folks.
Did you get your timer? Do you have your timer tonight?
Actually, no, I don't.
I'll keep an eye on it with the live timing there, just like you guys can online there at the live stream. Click on the live GT1 live timing link there. Anyway, so let's get going on this. We don't miss it this time. Starting pole position, David Pole. Second, Thiago Canola. Third, Kevin Savoy. Fourth, Ian Jolicoeur. And fifth, Chris Moses.
In P6, Aaron Parsons. P7, Marty Uren. In P8, Andre Prado, followed by Brand Barris. And rounding out the top 10, Christian Hamilton.
Starting 11th, Jared Keane. A great start for him. 12th, David Canavan. No secrets tonight, huh? No secret weapons. 13th, Gregory Myers. 14th, Laurent Feisman. And 15th, Juan Manuel.
In 16, we've got Liquid Lou Mascarelli. P17, Salem Montgomery Jr., followed by John Solberger in P18, Bjorn Heyman in P19, and Sam Rolfe in P20.
Last week's 9th place finisher, Rod Taylor. 22nd, the man, the boss, Al Merriman. Al Merriman, I better get that right. He'll kick me out of here. 23rd, John McIntyre. 24th, Andres Cole. And 25th, John Wathen.
26 by race man last week, Gup Douglas. 27, Scott Andrew. 28, Paul Hall in the Mad Croc Corvette. 29, Nick Johnson. And in P30, your co-host, Curtis Chandler. But we do have, I guess, Tony Akins, Chuck Carter, and Marco Conti rounding out the field.
So we did this last week. Who are you going to pick? I'm going to let you pick first tonight, since you beat me last week.
I am going with slippery Thiago Canola.
He's going to go with Thiago. I think he's going to fight back after me punting him off the first corner at Monday. I'm sure he's going to take his
all set to go
tonight.
here.
So I'm going to go with David Pole.
And David Pole is on the pole. Pole is off to a good start. Boy, they are bunched up there. 2, 3 wide. Pole through the first corner. Followed by Savoy.
Looks like Chris Moses
Chris
in the
Moses off. Thiago Canola in third. Ian Jolicoeur coming up behind him heavy in P4. Aaron Parsons up to P5.
Christian Hamilton's dropping back. He ended up spinning off into that inside corner, so he's all the way back in the last place, 23rd place.
Ouch. Marty Uren up to P6. Brad Maris right behind him in P7.
Guys are fighting pretty hard on this first lap. Sort them out, guys.
Absolutely. Aaron Parsons in P4. Going hard after Kevin Savoy. Get a little bit of a gap. They are all bunched up. And there's Brad Maris and Andre Prado. 6-7. Jared Keane up to P9. Canavan into P10. And Greg Myers in P11. No surprise there. I think those two guys are going to smooth themselves out and just hunt down the leaders. Lauren Weisman down to P12.
Just hook up. Yeah, man. I think around corner 5 or 6 there was another mass pile up. So it's shuffled up the order some. Chris Moses has dropped all the way back down to 20th place.
Ouch. That'll be a lot of work for Chris, but not going to be a surprise to watch him move forward. Jared Keane hanging on to P9. And the Ager Racing Team in P8 and P7. Maris and Prado. Marty, you ran in P6.
Thiago Canola going for the lead against David, so Thiago's working his way back up against David Cole.
Right up behind him, and looking for the pass.
Spot to make a pass.
Well, it looks like we got Ian Joliker off to the side there, cut the corner, and it looks like he's lost. He's going to lose some positions.
Move Jared up in the 8th spot. But Jared goes wide, and it moves Ian back up in there. And if Jared isn't careful, he's going to lose that spot to David Canavan.
Jared needs just to settle down. Well, it looks like they're just spacing themselves out a little bit up the front here. It looks like a Paul, Thiago, Savoie, Parsons, and Uren, followed by the Anger team. Boy, those guys have really put together a good showing this year.
Right next to each other.
Canavan, Myers, Weisman. Boy, we got our freight train going around there. Weisman having a look on the inside, and he's got him. Lauren moves up into P11. Took that spot away from Craig Myers, and that was a real nice pass. Craig not going to let him go, though. It does look like Weisman's got some pace on Craig. P13, Juan Monroy. Salem Montgomery Jr. up into P14, and it looks like it sounded like we just lost somebody. Lou Mascarelli in the points, P15.
Catching in with somebody who had a bit of an incident with suspension damage and he's dropped out. I think that's the name.
John Stolberger up in the last paying position, P16. Chris Moses made his way back up to P17. Rob Taylor, P18. And Big Al following Rob, and he just passed Rob on the inside there. Rob had a little bobble going around, so it looks like Big Al and Chris following each other around the track. Bjorn Heyman back in P20. Johnny Mack back in P21. Christian Hamilton back to P22. Nick Johnson back in P23. Scott Andrew in P24. Paul Hall, Mad Rock Corvette, P25. Tony Aikens in P26. And the Gupper Douglas back in P27. Mark O'Connie all the way back to P28. He must have got tangled up in some off-track incident.
Yeah, he came in second qualifying, so he started from the back, but he hasn't been able to move up at all. Looks like Thiago's gotten all the way back at David Pohl again for the lead, and they're not dropping anybody else. They're Kevin Simon and Aaron Parsons are still right there.
I just picked that back up. Thanks, Curtis.
It's Lou tonight. I'll go with that. Thiago is faster than David. David's faster than Thiago, so
probably just going to wait out his time there to be patient. There's a lot of laps in this, over 60 laps in this race.
Track temperatures are not excessive. It's 170 degrees out there track temp, but we saw how that affected the Ford some last week at Spa, and Thiago looking deep inside there, but didn't force the issue.
Smoking the tires as they come into those corners. One little mistake from Pole or Canola, and that P34, they're going to go by them like they're standing still.
Chuck Carter's had to go into the pits being already a lap down. I was just looking ahead to see when we might start seeing some lap traffic, but we're about 35 seconds away from that, so probably another 8 laps or so, I'm guessing. We'll see these guys come up on that traffic.
Well, I'm on board following with the TV cam on Canola, and he is looking all over the place for a way around David Pole.
Yeah, him and he's got to watch his hair a little bit too, because Kevin Savoy is right there. They've been playing Aaron Parsons as a smart game, just kind of watching it. Not using up his car, and Kevin Savoy, he is right there on Thiago too, so yeah. Either one of those two up front make a mistake, you know, Kevin's going to pounce on it.
Absolutely. If Pole and Canola get tangled up at all, these other two are going to run right past him.
But Kevin's car is working real good too. He's got nice, tight, clean lines, so watch out for Kevin. Ezza looks like he's actually working that car pretty. He hits those corners and the car's getting a little squirrely on him, so.
It looked that way in practice and in qualifying too. It looked like that he had that, I believe it's a 550 Ferrari. He had that thing pushing pretty good.
Maybe it's the nature of the beast with that car.
And it looked like Savoy had a little bit of a bobble there and lost a little bit of ground at Canola. And that puts Mr. Parsons right up on his bumper.
He's top 4, about 5 seconds behind. Got a 5-second gap back to 5th, so it's got a nice gap, so we don't have to look behind him. Just worry about the race you're in right now. Looks like we lost David Canavan. He's crashed out.
Oh, say it isn't so.
DNF, I don't know if he's crashed or dropped, but he's dropped. He fell right off the island this morning. So David is gone, and John Walton is also dropped out this race.
Well, Canavan will not be happy with that. That is not going to help him in the driver's points.
It does do increase up another spot. So David Myers up another spot.
Well, following along behind Mr. Parsons, it looks like the top 4 are staying relatively close together, but at a respectable distance from each other.
Joe Martier fighting pretty hard for that spot.
Just picked them up right now. Thank you, Mr. Chandler. far back from the front group either. They can still see them in sight.
About 5 seconds it looks like. But this, oh, and there goes the Thiago. And he just basically just bumped Kevin or David out of the way.
And Parsons goes by him.
So Thiago's going to slow up and let David back by. That's what he does. So it drops Thiago back into fourth.
That puts Savoie in P1 and Mr. Parsons in P2. And you know, these two guys are not going to be easy to pass again.
No, they won't be. They're not going to. And there's a reason for them to make it easy. It's a nice, tight track. But yeah, Thiago got in there in that turn 8. And, you know, it's a good passing opportunity if the guy leaves you just enough room. But Thiago wasn't able to hold the car and got into the side of David Pole. I don't know if he caught it. But,
no, I just missed it. I had just gone back to the Joel Leclerc battle.
Thiago obviously he's let David right back by, so it does hurt him. They both drop a couple spots. Like they say, Kevin Savoie is now your leader. I think it's been a while since Kevin's been up at the front of a race, hasn't it?
I believe you're right. I don't remember watching him take the P1 for many laps.
So that's just going to let Ian and Marty and their battle move up just about a second behind Thiago and David. A little bit of tie-in on the leaders.
It sure is. That's going to put Marty and Ian into a battle for the podium rather quickly. Andre Prado back in P7. Lauren Weisman in P8. Juan Monroy in P9. Greg Myers in P10. What happened to Brad Maris? Chris Moses up to P11. He sure has picked up. He dropped back, I think you said P22 on the first lap?
Yeah, he had dropped all the way back to what? Yeah, 20th to 22nd place. Now, he's had a couple of drops, but he's made a lot of passes. Worked his way back up to 11th.
Yeah, and he has taken that P11 away from Brad Maris. Jared Keane hanging on to P13 with John Solberger right on his tail. And Rob Taylor up to P15. Rob had a great run last week and looks like he's making some moves this week. A Liquid Lou Mascarelli in P16, followed by Sandler Montgomery Jr. Nick Johnson up to P18. Quietly making his way forward, I would say.
Our fastest lap holder at the moment being Ian Jovico at 1:29.1. So he's got it moving out there.
Christian Hamilton's fallen back to P22. And Marco Conti back to P24 as well. He had started a lot better than that, I do believe.
No, Marco came in, he was one of the people that dropped in qualifying.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, well, no, not a no-qual, he dropped in qualifying, I think it was. And
no, he had a no-qual. He had a no-qual penalty.
Did he? Did he? Penalty, so that'll do it one.
Tony Aikens back
in. Any case.
Yes. In P25, Paul Hall in P26, and Gup Douglas all the way back to P27. And there's your race leader, Kevin Savoie.
And Thiago and David are not able to make any inroads on Kevin, as the cat's not coming down at all. So they're going to have to just focus and drive fast laps and not race each other if they want to gap into those top two.
Yeah, they're going to have to work on the hundredths of a second per lap and try just to crawl back up to these. these two leaders here because they don't want to let them get too far out in front.
Kevin Savoy's got a little bit of a lap traffic in front of him here. Probably catching turn 2.
Following Marty Uren, and that battle with Marty and Ian Joliker is still going on. Ian's looking for all sorts of any kind of a track to get by him. And Andre Prado still hanging on to that P7, but he is carrying out a ton of weight tonight, folks.
Still running some really competitive lap times. Right there in the 30s.
I got Chris Moses in the viewer right now, and he's all over the back of Greg Myers. You can look for Krista. Wanting to get by that Greg Myers in a bad way.
Yeah, Greg got a little sideways. Lose a little bit of momentum out of that straight. Chris is on a mission now, huh?
I think so.
He's got his eyebrows down, I think. I think if we had a camera on Chris right now, you would have the most serious looking Chris you can find. Better car, or see where Greg has a little bit better car.
Oh, we got some fun traffic up in front. Oh boy, this is getting interesting now.
That would be Andres, huh?
Yeah, and that forces Chris off wide into the kitty litter. Still kept contact with him.
Time? Yeah. I guess that was Brad Maris, it looks like. So Brad now behind Chris.
No, that was Andre Prado. Brad is in behind Chris Moses.
Right, yeah, Brad is behind Chris.
So it looks like we've got a Ford Ferrari sandwich going on there. And there goes Myers. Not enough. Prado hangs on to the inside. Myers coming around on the inside.
The over-under, but not quite. Prado protects the inside line there. Meantime, Greg protects the inside line. Moses on that previous corner. So these guys are trying to get the guy ahead and protect all at the same time. It's pretty busy for him right now.
And that has allowed Brad Maris to close up a little bit of the gap that they had on him. Chris running a little wide on that one.
Like Aaron Parsons is caught up to Kevin Saviloff in the lead of this race. He's all over the back of Kevin. So we have a fight for the lead again.
close. We'll switch back up there.
I would call this close.
I've got Myers going on the outside of Prado. Again, not enough. Looking on the inside now. Down to the outside.
Inside, outside. That's going to leave the gap for Chris Moses.
And Chris Moses is going to try and take him. I think he's got him. Oh, boy, this is tight racing here. And in the broadcast view that we've got, we can see Brad Maris has come up to squeeze these Ferraris. Chris Moses going a little wide there, getting a little sloppy into the grass in the kitty litter.
Looks like Aaron locked him up, trying not to get into the back of Kevin's sidewalk. That's why Thiago Canola by him for second place. So Aaron's dropped back to third. Gap for Kevin, he's got a 2-second gap now.
Coming up with some lap traffic with this battle back here. Whoa, it looks like Myers just got around the Madcrock Corvette and held him up. That's giving Prado a little bit of breathing room. Chris Moses getting a great draft. But Brad Maris has snuck on by Chris Moses. Brad Maris all over the back end of Craig Myers right now. Boy, they're in tight together.
Craig is doing a little more protecting. Focus forward, Craig, come on.
Oh, and you can bet Chris Moses is not going to be happy having one of the Anger boys in front of him after he was pressing to try and get up in front. I think it's just what Craig Myers needed was somebody to get Moses off his tail in there for just a bit of a breather.
He has been able to gap up just a little bit, get a little bit breather, let Brad worry about Chris now for a little while.
Yeah, that's taking the pressure off Andre Prado. They were Juan Monroy in P8 and Lauren Weisman in P7.
Yeah, they're just a second or so ahead of those guys. With Laurent Weisman, 7th place on down, they're about 20 seconds off 6th place, so there's a big gap from 6th and 7th place. Makes you wonder if there's a little bit of strategy involved with the gaps on some of these people, tires and fuel.
Yep, back up on board with Ian Joliker. He's still battling with Marty.
Yeah, those two, I just picked that up myself, and it looks like Marty and Ian are hanging on there, Marty. These two are going at it now. What, how many laps? Last 10, 15 laps?
Inside. And he got into him. And Ian has pulled it over. And flashing the lights. Letting him get the spot back. Good sportsmanship there.
Good sportsmanship, but you know, Marty dived down into that corner. But, yeah.
The old dive bomberoo.
party here. No time.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Up now at P4, David Poole. Bit of a gap to Aaron Parsons. And Thiago Canola in the P2.
He's slowly cutting away into that lead into Kevin Savoy. It was 2.5 seconds, now just 1.3. Slowly getting smaller and smaller, so
it definitely will get interesting.
More laps, we might have another fight for the lead.
Yep, that P1, 2, 3, 4. They're all in close together and still a lot of racing left.
Yeah, I think we're just now, probably just now about hitting the 30-minute mark, so about, 31 minutes into this race. One more hour to go. Working lap 19.
Juan Monroy just picked up that one. Juan Monroy, Lauren Weisman, Andre Prado, and Greg Myers all in tight together. Big battle from P6 to P10. And Chris Moses in behind him, and I guess that's going to be... oh, we've got a spin there. Greg Myers has picked up a spot there.
Weisman
And looks like Greg's going to have a look on the outside here. Going to do the old over-under? Not enough. But boy, oh boy, Greg, look in your rear-view mirror. You got trouble right behind you again. There's that Ford-Ferrari sandwich we had earlier. It is back in place.
It won't take long for Ferraris to get back up.
On board with Chris Pit Wizard Moses.
There's the line into turn one just as it conducted to a pass. You just gotta make that pass into this next corner. We're down to half a second in the first and second. Thiago has basically cut the lead gone. Kevin Savoy done it.
Well, if that keeps up, Canola can get by him. He should be able to put some race pace on and create a gap there.
Thiago's showing him the front of his car in the mirrors. Going to the corner, so he's giving Kevin something to think about.
Just gone back up to P2 with Thiago Canola. Going to take one little bobble by Savoy, and I think Canola's going to scoot right by him.
Yeah, I was just not looking at the times here between Thiago and Kevin. Looks like Thiago's got the pace. He's running about half a second, 3/4 of a lap faster, and there's the bobble. See Thiago carry the momentum past him.
Great recovery by Kevin Savoy there.
That was. Kevin's looking in the mirrors now. That's what you want to do. You want to get that guy in front of you thinking a little bit more about you. Kevin's got good speed down the straight. He went just another inch wider, he would have nipped that sand.
It sure looks like Savoy's got his hands full on that one. And if Canola, oh, there it is, there's the bobble.
Wide this way, just a little bit, but should be able to hang on to that spot. Here's where Thiago likes to try to make the pass.
Well, they're coming up onto some lap traffic, so it's going to be interesting here.
That's also the corner where Thiago got David earlier, so he might be a little more tentative.
You know, I got to say that great patience shown by Canola. You know, waiting for the perfect opportunity. Many opportunities he's had, he probably could have rubbed, swap paint with Savoy, but he's kept it real clean. Well, the Mad Croc Paul, yeah.
A bad position there.
Oh boy, that they're all soiling their pants there.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught right there. You know, you go wide into the dirt, but you don't want to hold the guys up either. So looks like everything worked out good though.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it affected either the P1 or P2 drives at all. Looks like we got a viewer checked in here. Who's that? Jet Soft? Wish I was driving too. We do too. It looks like a lot of fun out there tonight, doesn't it, Curtis?
Sure does. I don't know if I've ever done well on this track, but I always like driving it. It's fun. Technical, straight. Yeah. Wish I was driving.
More lap traffic.
Thiago might have the pace, but it's going to be tough to get around him.
And he done it. There it is.
Just that little bit of extra on the edge of the track there, and that's what did it. Thiago should be able to with the gap here. He was about half a second lap faster. Right off the bumper there, so.
Yeah, and with the way Kevin is swerving that car around, has he got an answer? Can he come back?
Well, Kevin, you know, maybe he knows that Thiago just has the pace on, so maybe he should just conserve what he has, try to make some adjustments for that first pit stop. But, you know, you can't let Thiago just drive away, but you don't want to overdrive your car and cost yourself seconds on the track. You can save time by actually being conservative, fixing the car in the pit stop, so ready for the second half of the race.
Yeah, second place is not a bad spot to be in the NAGP Thursday night GT1 League, so it's not going to be a terrible thing if he follows Canola around up until the first stint is over. Well, great patience by both these drivers.
Follow him now and see when Thiago's fast, see when he's not faster. Look on that pace there. Now that Thiago's passing, you can take a little bit of a breather, you know, and like, okay, relax, drive my pace.
Yeah, you were saying follow him around and see where he's fast and where he's not so fast. Where isn't he fast?
It's all relative.
And again, coming up to this lap traffic, this is where it always gets dicey. Well, now that that battle has sorted itself out, that was pretty exciting. Back to P3.
Fight between Brad and Chris.
Yeah, but
right on the tail of Chris Moses.
I sure wouldn't want to be Kevin Savoy right now because I just jumped on board. Looks like we got an off car there with Celine, with Aaron Parsons, and you'll never guess who he is hunting down.
David? Cole and Aaron Parsons coming to Kevin.
They are coming through, and I gotta say, it looks like Parsons might have some pace there on Savoie. Maybe Savoie ate up his tires trying to hang on to that P1. And Pole in behind.
Yeah, I'm just taking a quick look at the lap times between Marty and Kevin. Or excuse me, between Ezza and Kevin. Ezza's running 130 flat minutes, and he's real consistent 130.3.
Oh, and there's Kevin is off. Savoie is off, and Parsons goes through. Savoie into P3, and he may lose that. He does. Oh boy, that was a nasty blow. He just took David Pole out on a pretty nasty rejoin. Pole gets out into a nasty rejoin too, and his teammate Marty checked up and let him through. I don't know if you caught all that. Pole is into the pits. He's going to need repairs on that car. Boy, oh boy, that was exciting. Whoops, we just lost somebody.
Race, so it's a little early, but if David can top the tanks off, he might be able to stretch us and go the rest of the way.
Might not be all that bad either. So, Aaron Parsons, P2 in the Ferrari, and he actually has Canola in sight.
About 3.5 seconds back, it's all.
And I gotta say, Parsons is revving the snot out of that Ferrari.
Yeah, they like the rev. David Cole's dropping. He's almost got the 20th.
Well, we've got Savoie.
Finally on the lead.
Yeah, Savoie is in P3. And he is still sliding that car around. Ian Joliker up to P4. Marty Uran into P5. Juan Monroy up to P6. Andre Prado into P7, and Andre is carrying a pop load of weight tonight. Boy, that Anger Racing, what a team. Brad Maris, P8, right behind his teammate. But Chris Moses is gun and form.
That pit stop, David Cole came out right behind Kevin Savoie. So David went a lap down, but he's right there against the guy. And just,
Nick Johnson into P10. And he has just passed Chris Moses. Nick Johnson has started from the back of the pack and now made his way up to P10. This guy can run the rubber off any car.
Gregor Myers is pitted. So it looks like we're in the pit window now for people. 43 minutes into this race.
Nick Johnson.
Okay, this is good. Thiago and Aaron, our leaders, are both in the pits.
Well, they're both in together. This may keep them tight together coming out. I'm on board now with Nick Johnson, and he's running down Brad Maris. He's running down Brad Maris. Brad Maris sideways into the corner. Nick Johnson checked up, but I think Nick's going to have him on the straight here. Going to the outside. Nick's got him. Nick's all the way up into P6 now.
Those are some good pits as well now.
Chris can't have anything left on those tires for the battling he's done in that first stint.
Some people are going to follow their leads. I think we'll see the next group of people. Looks like, what have I missed? Kevin Samlaw go off again. That's let Ian and Marty both by. So Kevin dropped back to third.
Yeah, it'd be interesting once this piss cycle goes through.
Yeah, because these pit cycles are about a minute. About a minute 20 or so, dude, which is real close to a lap time around here. So, any bobble in the pits, and you're going to go down a lap.
Back with Johnny McIntyre, battling Bjorn Heyman for P13. Thiago's out of the pits, back in P15, but that'll straighten itself out.
Kevin Samlaw, Juan Manuel, both in the pits at the same time. Juan Manuel has a real good team.
Well, I'm sure it's all going to sort itself out once the pit rotation gets done. But it just amazed me how fast that Nick Johnson has clawed his way back up to the front of the pack and literally went around Chris Moses quite handily. That really surprised me.
It's right before Chris went in. It may have been the deciding factor for Chris to go ahead and get in the pits and change those tires. Of course, if that's the case, and Nick still has this kind of tire left on the car after 5 minutes of racing.
Yeah, what's
later in the race?
Yeah, what secrets he got? Yeah, the pit lane is quite busy.
Ian's coming in. I would suspect Marty to come in along with him, and he does. And I would think Andres Preda would be next.
Joliker's in the pits. Marty.
And here comes Andres. Nick stays out.
Nick stays out.
So guess who's going to be in the lead?
Wow. I don't know what else to say, Curtis. What can I say? The guy started last. He won't stay there, but it'll be interesting to see where he ends up after the rotation.
Nope, yeah, he won't stay there, but I'm Rob Taylor in second in the Nissan. Just had a little off. He's probably going to come in this lap. Looks like he's fighting for grip. So, this Nick Johnson. Nick has been talking quite a bit about Thiago's Monday night performances and how he's going to stretch steel on. I wonder if Nick is going to try to do that here on the GT1 side of things.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Actually, you've talked about it because you're more experienced than I am. You really got to watch those lap times. Once you start going down on times, it just doesn't pay to stay out there.
Yeah, Nick has been running in the 130s, the high 130, and then he had a 131 the last couple of laps. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to stay out. He does again.
Yeah, I'm up on the leaderboard there. He's just cruising by there like he could go all day long.
Well, so what we do now is we watch the gap. If we can keep that gap around 115 for the next maybe 5 laps, you know, pit stop around here, take a little bit less fuel. If you can take less fuel, make a faster pit stop out of it, you can come out right there at the top with the leaders. Of course, he's only, what, 42 seconds ahead of Thiago, so if 45 seconds ahead of Aaron. Looks like when he does pit, he'll come out probably around 9th or so, be my guess.
Yeah, he's going to be right in the thick of it with Uran, Savoy, and Monroy. And Moses again.
Yeah, I don't see him being able to gap anybody. It's probably his best bet is to pit now and get back out there and fight with the guys a mano.
You're right, because still with about half the race to go, if he's gone from the back of the pack to 10th place, I'm sure he could pick up a few more positions in the final half of the race. He's staying out again.
He ran a mid 31 and 131.6, so his pace is off about 1.2 seconds off his normal race pace. So,
well, it's time for him to get in if he's losing time.
Thiago Canola's running a 129.2, 129.7 last lap, so yeah, he's lost a second right there already. So you can see how fast it'll happen.
Yep. Rob Taylor has just gone in the pits, so he'll drop out of his second spot. Always nice to run around and see those single digits when you're going around, though. Canola.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. It just sucks when the reality sets in and I spring right back up into big double digits. Thiago into P2, and he'll take that P1 back out over as soon as he gets by Nick.
And you can see he's dropped that lead down to 40 seconds, so he's lost Nick has lost 2 seconds here in the last 2 laps, so it's not going to do Nick any good to stay out there.
Well, I got to think this is it for Nick. And he's in the pits.
Here he goes.
What a team, Curtis. We can call him, can't we?
Yeah, we can. All we got to do is pay attention, right?
I think we're paying a little more attention tonight than we did last week. But we had so much fun last week.
All the excitement is Spa, right? Pretty good battles here all the way through 5th through 10th, 11th through 10th. These guys are all battling real close to each other. But as you see, Nick starting to drop down a little bit.
Well, we got Canola and Parsons, 1-2. David Bull in 3.
Nick is in 3rd place. He's had a couple of offs into the kitty litter, so he's got that 16-second gap because of the strips in the sand.
Yeah, Johnson's rolling, but he's in P11, just about where we thought he might come out.
Looks like Brad will get by him too.
Yep,
yes.
P12.
It's a little bit further back than I thought.
Oh, he's going to get
Solberger right up on him.
Yeah, and Chris Moses too. And he's out on cold tires, and Solberger's right behind him.
Greg Myers, 14th, right behind Solberger. So Greg with a little bit earlier pit stop. Alright, okay, so we got the battles again here. We got Juan Monroy and Chris Moses. Chris made the pass on Juan. Kevin Savoy dropped all the way back to 7th place after the pit stop cycle. So our 1 time later, down to 7th. That's a pretty big gap. Kevin's 32 seconds behind Thiago, so he lost a lot of time.
Jesus, just cycling through the pack there. Paul Hall in Mad Croc Corvette. Looks like he's carrying a little bit of damage on the back of that car. Back up front, Thiago Canola.
There was one car that didn't pit, that was Bjorn Hinnon. So I think he's going to get past that back on the left.
Thiago getting around Salem Montgomery. And Aaron Parsons coming up on Salem. And it looks like Canola's coming up on the Mad Croc Corvette.
Paul stays wide, looks like.
Yep, and give him
Thiago
lots of room.
But
Salem.
Aaron Parsons, you know.
In behind Salem Montgomery. Salem getting the blue flag. Salem grabbing a draft.
The blue flag.
Aaron by on the inside. Taking it a little wide. Looks like he's going to take the Mad Croc at the same time, and does. And the battle continues. Parsons hunting down Canola. Pole in P3.
Remember earlier in the race, Aaron Parsons was just kind of hanging out there, not, you know, it may have looked like he was pushing hard, but it's probably just fighting the car a little bit, but hanging there in 4th place early in the race, just kind of watching the proceedings in front of him, and look what he's done now. He's worked his way up to the 2nd. And going to give Thiago a race here for the end, huh?
Yeah, it'll be a battle right to the end with those two drivers. Probably a couple of the better drivers in the league there. Marty Uren in P5. And Kevin Savoie coming up to some lap traffic. That looks like Jared Keane getting the blue flag and Kevin going by. Chris Moses up to P7.
That's rough. He had a really rough start at the beginning of this race. What did he end up, what, 20th? Knocked down the 21st spot?
Yeah, they had 20 or 21st. There's another driver that's put on a great run.
A couple of offs there. Bump here, bump there. Get back up to the top 10.
Yeah,
he fought with Juan Monroy a little bit there, but he's gapping now.
Yeah, Juan is losing a little bit to Chris Moses. Andre Prado with all that weight, he's back in P9. That's still a great showing to be carrying all that weight, though. And Brad Maris.
154 pounds?
154 pounds. Unbelievable. Teammate not far behind him in P10. Brad Maris. Boy, those guys are putting on a team show. Nick Johnson in behind him. I can't quite see the Anger Boys. Out in front of him.
About, what, 9 seconds or so in front of Nick there, so
all right.
Quick peek at his lap time. So Nick finally down to the 129s on that last lap. So let's see if how the Anger Boys are running. If they're running any, about half a second slower. So it's going to take some work for Nick to get up to the Anger Boys.
Yeah, he'll have his work cut out to make it into the top 10 there, but he may just have enough time.
You know, Gregory Myers doing what he does, kind of slippering his way up through the field, but he's running, what, 13th now. But Laurent not letting him get away in that Celine. So we're going to fight Laurent Weisman and Gregory Myers.
Yeah, we've got Weisman, Myers, and Solberger.
You know, Laurent kind of confuses me. You know, the guy shows really fast pace. Off and on, he can be fast and slow in the same race. So next thing you know, he'll be a little off pace, and then bam, he's right back subject. We've lost Kevin Savoy. He's out.
Savoy's out?
Kevin Savoy is out of the race.
Whoa. Sorry, we missed that.
The leader gone. Don't know what happened, if it was just a disco or some sort of crash in the lead.
Sorry about that, folks. Didn't catch that. We're back at this battle for 11, 12, 13.
Celine now. His teammate's gone. That's going to move Sam Montgomery. That situation with Kevin Savoy leaving, it's going to move Salem up into that last points paying place. So, good thing on that.
Well, that's good on Salem. That'll be his second point for the season.
Nick has been able to work his way a little bit closer to Brad Maris. He's only 6 seconds behind him now. He was 9. I'll keep an eye on that. See if it gets any closer.
Yep, still a good battle back here. Oh, 11, 12, 13. And it looks like Lauren has had a bobble there and has put himself a little farther back. Behind that race there.
And in the meantime, Greg working his way closer to John Solberger, huh? Just what, half a second back now.
Yeah, and you can bet Greg's going to keep it smooth. I'm not going to be surprised at all if Greg can get by Solberger. He is just so smooth, so consistent. Looks like who we got there. Kid Tones. And a big hi out to you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're enjoying the show tonight.
Something earlier about your daughter and her class maybe joining tonight. If they're out there, say hi to everybody.
Yeah, I'd like to have just a little shout out there to the University of Guelph Zoology Research Team. Thanks for joining us last week. I hope there was a bunch of you out there watching us on the big screen. Crowd, grab your wheels and come on out and join us.
Quick update, the gap between Nick Johnson and Brad Maris for that 9th spot's down to 4 seconds. So Nick is making inroads.
Yeah, is Nick making inroads or are they falling back to him?
You know what, when you're driving, you don't care. If you're getting closer to the guy in front of you, who cares?
That's right. Up now with P9, Brad Maris. And P8, Andre Prado. Boy, a well-matched pair of drivers to make up that team. That's like team heaven there. Juan Monroy hanging on to P7.
A little bit of damage on the outside of that door panel on Andre's car.
Yeah, just what he needs. You know, a ton of weight and smacked up aerodynamics. Chris Moses up to P6. Looks like Chris has got some clean track in front of him.
Yeah, Chris is running some pretty consistent lap times. do to get a couple more points, though, huh?
And Marty Uren looks like he is still hunting down Ian Joliker there. That's a battle that's been going on for most of this race.
Yeah, those two have been fighting this entire race. See, Al Marimon's just not going into the pits. I thought he had already pitted once, so I wonder if he has a drive-through or stop and go. He pitted a few laps ago. Let's see what happens here. Lucas parks and goes. Al in and out of the pits, so I don't know if he just needed a splash or if there was a penalty there, but Al going to lose some positions and out of the points with that stop.
On board with Marty Uren, chasing down Ian Joliker, coming up to some lap traffic.
Good race, so I'm sure they'll talk about it when it's all over.
Yeah, that's the kind of racing that's a lot of fun. To keep it that close that long.
Looks like Solberger got past Greg Myers. That's going to let Laurent Weisman right back on Greg, so fight for 11th on again.
And up here with Marty Uren, our senior statesman, as I call him. Ex-professional race car driver out of Southern California. See Ian giving the headlight flash to the car in front of him. He wants by.
Headlights and blue flag.
And Marty squeaks in behind it too. Oh, a big slide by Marty, but hangs on to it.
McIntyre. Last round, points just came up on.
Up with David Pohl in P3. Parsons, P2. Canola, P1.
Looks like Thiago's stretching that gap for the lead. 4.7 seconds now.
Yep, a little bit, and, but this lap traffic can cost a little bit of time.
Another update on the Mick versus Brad. It's going to be a battle here at another 2 laps, I think.
Well, we're going to get back at that as soon as Thiago can get around his lap traffic, gets the dip of the lights, and away he goes. Canola, Parsons, Pohl, Joliker, and Marty Uren on the inside. I just caught that, and Marty slides on the inside, goes a little wide, and Ian retakes the position again. Great action back here. Boy, oh boy, these guys have been duking it out all night.
It's going to be hard to say. We've got about 20 minutes left of this race, and we're just now working lap 44.
hard as these guys have been pushing tonight, Salem Montgomery off on the inside as Uren and Joliker come by, but it's not a real problem. But as hard as these guys have been pushing tonight, they're all going to be exhausted at the end of this race.
Seconds still, and he's not making any inroads up on Marty and Ian, so unless something bad happens in front of him, Chris is going to have to be content with that 6th place, it feels like. Of course, you know, like I say, 20 minutes left, there's a lot that can happen.
Yeah, it surprised me. That's a lot of time, and anything can happen yet.
So I don't have to do any more updates. It looks like Nick got by Brad. And now Nick chases down Andre.
Boy, oh boy. What can I say? I'm speechless. This guy's a mystery to me, I'll tell you.
The guys are giving you grief. They don't like Xbox Cam, apparently, huh?
What are they giving me grief about? Oh, guys, just enjoy the race, will you? We are.
I think it's funny when they give you grief. It makes me smile.
Actually, we appreciate the input. Not that we're going to pay attention to it, but we appreciate the input.
Get your own producer.
You know, we're more than open here. Anybody out there watching this, if you don't want to drive on Saturdays, why don't you come on along and broadcast on Saturdays as well? I could use a teammate on Saturday to do the broadcast.
All right, here's a little tidbit for you. We need to jump in Laurent's car because he and Greg and Soulburger are having a good fight here for 12th, 11th place.
Just pick that up now.
You know, since Nick is just going to drive away, it looks like, from Brad, what's the point of watching that anymore?
On board with Weisman.
Keep you up to date on anything going up front.
Boy, these guys are sure racing hard as well. Weisman's been sliding that thing around pretty good all night. And Greg Myers in P12. I have no doubt that this is going to be hard fought, and I did predict earlier that Greg might make it up into P10. He usually does, very close to the top 10. Weisman having a look on the inside there, but didn't have enough.
To set Greg up here, it's going to be tough to do. We saw Chris Moses fight with Greg earlier, and saw how tough it was to get around Greg.
Yeah, you're going to have to go right offline to take Greg, because Greg just drives the line so well.
Weisman, he a minute 18 behind, so we'll be looking for the leaders to come up on this battle and see if they're going to disrupt it at all.
Oh boy, you can bet that'll be a disruption. These guys won't want that. as tight as this is, I have just got on the chat board that they want to see the boss and Jared going at it. There's Big Al on your screen. Jared Keane in behind him. Go, Jared, go. Sorry about that, Al.
And then go, Jared, go. No, he just... Well, let's see either you go next week.
So much for my job's gone now. On board with Jared Keane. As he hunts down Big Al. Big Al's getting a little sideways. Jared just can't seem to hang on to it to get by him. We have enough here, though.
Big Al's going to have to fight. Try to get some
big Xbox show for you there, boys. Looks like Al's got his hands full with that Ferrari there. Okay, now they want us back up into the other battle. You viewers can make up your mind tonight, can't you? And it is a battle here. Lauren Weisman on the inside. Oh, and Greg's lost it. Greg has spun it. Back out onto the track.
Greg
sideways, sideways. Get her going, Greg.
Yeah, I heard him lock those tires up just a little bit. Greg slid it off and let the round up in there. It's gonna work again to catch him.
And Lauren. Now Weisman. Hunting down Solberger. Up into lap traffic. That looks like Jared Keane they're going by.
Jared was in a Ferrari.
Swinging to the outside. Weisman in hot into the corner.
Yeah, able to get a little more speed into the corner. So we're able to get it down and out.
Whoa, they are tight in together, aren't they?
I would look for Laurent to go up there into turn 8, top of the hill. Try to poke his nose down in there. So we're getting a little wider than some of these corners. Laurent able to carry more speed into him. Probably see it this next lap. Laurent dirt tracking it through there.
Yeah, Laurent sort of got a little hot into that last corner. But he's right back at him again.
Just so you know, quickie update. Thiago, Gap, and Nez are now about 8 seconds. So nothing happening up front.
Oh, quite a battle going on there. Solberger, Weisman, and Greg Myers got her back going again. A little bobbled by Greg. Very uncharacteristic of Greg.
So just so you know, it looks like this race will go on time. We've only got 10 more minutes left in this race, but we have 13 more laps to run, so we're going to run this race on time.
Well, thank goodness you've got a clock running tonight. P14.
I clicked on that handy dandy link there shown on live stream at live timing link. It shows how much race time is left.
Yeah, boy. P14, Rob Taylor. P15, Johnny McIntyre. Salem Montgomery in the last paying position. P16. Hang in there, Salem. Big Al Merriman. And Jared going at it again. We're going to hang in here for just a second here. Jared is still all over the back Al. Oh, Jared running a little wide there. That's taking a little bit of heat off of Big Al. Give him a little breathing space. Go, Jared, go. Liquid Lou Mascarelli in P19. Bjorn Heyman back in P20. Scott Andrew, P21. Paul Hall in the Mad Croc Corvette in P22. And back up front, there's your leader, Thiago Canola. And we can see Aaron Parsons just at the top of the straightaway as Canola exits.
Not wishing any bad things on Salem, but if Al keeps his pace up, he has a good shot to get up there against Salem there and get that last points paying position. Salem running about a second and a half, 2 seconds a lap slower, but it's going to be close. One small off, and Al will have that last place.
Well, we all want to see the boss do well, but you know what? I don't think Salem's been around that long, around the league that long, and it sure is nice to see some of these new drivers grab some points.
Oh yeah, definitely.
P2, Aaron Parsons. Ian Joliker, P3. Final podium position there in the number 3 car. Marty Uren, P4. And David Pohl not that far behind in P5. Chris
4 minutes left in this race.
8 minutes? That might be a little far then. P6, Chris Moses. Bad luck for Chris at the start of this race. Juan Monroy in P7. Coming up the lap traffic there. Looks like he got around Paul Hall. Oh boy, we got a bunch up there. We got blue flag waving. Monroy goes through. Prado goes through. Oh, Paul Hall just took Prado out. Paul Hall just bumped Prado and took him out. Prado's now down to P9. And dropped to P10. And Brad Maris, a teammate, has just gone by him. If anybody's going to pass you, it's not so bad when your teammate does. Solberger, P11. And Weisman still all over the back of him.
Looks like after Laurent made that pass on Greg lost a little bit of space. It was 4, now it's 6 seconds. So Greg fighting the front of that car. You can see him pushing through some corners. The fight with Laurent and John definitely on.
Absolutely, I'm on board with Laurent right now in the TV cam. And Solberger, or Monroy, Weisman, it looks like he's taking that position. Solberger has fallen into 12th.
Yeah, he got inside that corner, just nipped that curving. Don't want to, tricky corner. You want to get the power down fast, but that can happen. Try to get that power down in that corner. It'll just spin you around if you're anywhere near that curve.
And they're coming up on lap traffic as well. And the lap traffic moves to the outside.
So that off by Andres. That off by Andres was let you know who by Nick Johnson up into 8th.
I'm speechless. I am just speechless.
He is only a couple seconds behind Juan Manuel in 7th, so he has a chance yet to move up another spot.
Yeah, I can see that in the TV viewer, TV cam. He's got him in sight. And for this Nick Johnson, I think that's all he needs. He just needs to see a car on the track in front of him, and he's going to race.
This motor is out.
No, see, this is so.
It is so. Greg is blowing the motor.
Just cooked it. He didn't go off and cause any damage.
I'm gonna assume cooked because he was losing time and it's that engine, so I'm giving the benefit of the doubt and just say it was the motor.
Well, good show there, Greg. We love watching you drive. You put on a real clinic on driving the line. In P9 and 10, the Hanger boys. What a team. Can't say enough about these guys. And we got
down to 3 minutes left, so Thiago Canola is going to be working just 2 more laps.
Well, I'm just going to run through the pack. Run through the pack and get back up with our leader. In P11 we've got Lauren Weisman and Solberger. They've been fighting it out all night long. It looks like Weisman's going to put a little bit of a gap on the Solberger. Rob Taylor, another great showing for Rob. He's into P13. John McIntyre into P14. And Salem Montgomery Jr. into P15 in the points. Way to go, Salem. And Big Al, P16, last paying position. Grab those points. Lou Mascarelli in P17, racing with his teammate Jared Keane in P18. They're actually racing together, side by side, going around the corner. Settle down, boys. P19, Bjorn Heyman, Scott Andrew in P20, and Paul Hall in the Mad Croc Corvette in P21. Thiago Canola, P1, out in front. How much time we got left, Curtis?
It says we have 2 minutes left. So, we are on the track here. We might have like 2 more laps left for Thiago to run. That 6-second lead over Aaron Parsons. Yeah, I think Aaron's just going to stay where he is, not worry about it, collect the points. He's got a big gap over third, but
that would be a lot of work to get up there to challenge Thiago. He's just been fairly dominant all night tonight. But at least it wasn't a total runaway.
See anybody up front there making any of those mistakes? Just enough gap so that they don't have to sweat, run their lines, keep it clean, and once you're in, you're good. And just another update. Looks like Nick made it past Juan Manuel, so Nick up 7th.
Again, I don't know what to say about that guy. I've got to get in and talk with that guy. He has just been a surprise to me.
Just under 30 seconds left. Thiago Canola back on the back side of the track. This may be his last lap. It may be on his last lap. 10 seconds left, yeah. It may finish up with Thiago right now on this lap. So
Thiago in the thick of lap traffic. Salem Montgomery moved over a little too far to the inside, put it off the track to let him go by.
So, Thiago Canola. Flat traffic in front of him into that last corner.
Yep, and going by them.
Lift off.
Thiago Canola for the win. Aaron Parsons for P2. Ian Joliker currently sitting in P3. Coming around the final corner and take it home for P3. And coming around the final corner as well, Marty Uren and teammate David Pohl, 4-5. Chris Moses brings her home in P6. Great drive, Chris, from a long way back after a disastrous first lap. Nick Johnson all the way from the back of the pack, right up to P7. Juan Monroy, just overtaken by Nick in the last lap or two, for P8. Anger Boys, Brad Maris, P9. Andre Prado, P10. And Lauren Weisman. Great racing action tonight we've seen out of Lauren. In P11, John Solberger. P12, Rob Taylor. Another great showing by Rob. 9th last week, 13th this week. P13, Johnny Mack, P14. Big Al Merriman in the points in P15. And Salem Montgomery Jr. in behind him in P16. Jared Keane just one out of the points in P17. And Liquid Lou Mascarelli in P18. Bjorn Heyman, P19. Scott Andrew in P20. And Paul Hall in the Mad Croc in P21. And that is the race tonight.
Yeah, these guys, you know, we got Brad Maris and Andres Prieto working this last couple of corners here. Andres going to keep that ninth spot.
They've really worked well together as a team.
Yes, they do. So yeah, your top 10. Brad makes it in the top 10, but I think the big race tonight was Nick Johnson coming all the way from the last run.
Yeah, that was
a great run for Nick Johnson.
That's a story all in itself. Nick Johnson coming from the back of the pack. Also want to say that I thought Chris Moses put in a hell of a run as well. His first lap troubles that he had, and made his way all the way back up into the top 10. That was great. P6, I believe he finished in.
Yeah, but my pick of the night, Thiago. Congratulations, Thiago Canola, on that win tonight. You pretty much, after you, that one little bobble you and David had together, after that, got it straightened out and went and took the win tonight. So, good job, Thiago.
Yes, another great drive by one of our top drivers at the NAGP, but another great drive by all our drivers at the NAGP. I want to thank everybody. Are we going to be able to drag Thiago up into the booth, or do we have that capability tonight?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see if I can find out.
Again, I want to thank everybody for joining in with us. We're going to see if we can grab the winner up here for a quick chat. But it's been another great evening at NAGP. Racing Monday, Thursday, and starting up Champ Car Series on Saturday. If you want to get involved, grab a wheel, get in touch with one of the admins, and come on in and join us. Lots of room for all levels of drivers, and we'd love to have you involved.
Waiting to hear back. We should know in a second if we can talk to our race winner tonight, Thiago Canola.
Well, Curtis, as usual, it was another great race.
Yeah, another good race tonight to watch, and a lot of good close racing throughout the field.
Well, that first place win is sure going to help Thiago out on the driver championship, but with the second place by Aaron Parsons, it's still probably going to leave him on the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, Tessa had another good... Yep, we got Thiago. So, Thiago Canola, congratulations on the win. You're up here with the broadcast group. How you doing tonight? Other than the win, you must be doing good.
Oh, thank you, Kurt. So, nice one. The beginning of the race was very hard for me. I wasn't concentrated enough. I didn't practice enough for this one, and it was very tough to overtake Paul in the beginning of the race. I had a little moment with him, so I waited. No, I did a gentleman behavior, as always. After that, the only way to overtake him was to dive in the hairpin. So I still need to apologize because I think I played a little bit hard with him. So the second stint was very calm. I was racing by myself with a very clean track in front of me. Keeping calm, keeping my mind cool, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Poole, Jack Ivey here, Thiago, I don't think Mr. Poole is going to be upset when you're racing for first place. It's a race. We expect it to be a little aggressive up there. Great drive tonight, nice and smooth. It sure looked like he had pace on everybody out there.
Oh, thank you, Jack. Thank you. As Ayrton Senna said, if you don't go for a gap, you're no longer a race driver. So there was a gap, so I needed to try in that situation, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't overtake him when they roll right.
Well, it sure looked like you had pace on him, though. Curtis and I were noticing that we knew if and when you got by him that you were going to put some distance between him, because it looked like you had a little bit of pace on him to begin with.
Yeah, I think he was struggling with his tires, mainly the rear tires. I know that the McLaren is very quick in this kind of track, but it's very hard to manage the tires, the tire wear.
Now, we noticed also driving the big Ford GT was Nick Johnson, and he seemed to stay out there on the track. Were tires even a concern for you tonight?
Yeah. I could drive with soft tires in the front, so I had a lot of grip during the two stints. Very constant pace, even with wasted tires. The tires is very good in this car.
Well, that was a pretty good run, and congratulations on the win. You were my pick tonight, by the way. I figured you were going to take your Monday night aggressions out on these guys tonight and go for the win, and I knew you'd do it, so congrats.
But I'm not upset about Monday. It's past, it's great stuff.
Well, we can tell it's past now because you just won tonight. Good on you. That'll help you out on the leaderboard here on Thursday night for sure. Still, Mr. Parsons is a hard guy to race against. He pulled off a second place finish behind you, but just didn't have the pace to get up to you. So I guess your mission for the rest of the season is to keep pushing hard and take the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, that will be tough because Parsons is a very good driver, and even with the amount of ballast that he had tonight, he did a very nice race. I didn't expect the Ferrari being so good in this track. So I can't imagine what he can do in the other track. So he is very competitive.
Well, we appreciate having you up here tonight. Again, congratulations to you and the other podium winners, and we look forward to watching you guys battle again next Thursday night.
Yeah, nice. See you next Thursday. So
Yeah, we'll see you next Thursday.
Folks, that was Thiago Canola, your winner for tonight, Thursday GT1, driving the big Ford GT. I'm Jack Ivey, and along with me is...
And I'm Curtis Chandler. I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight.
And we will back to see you next Thursday at 9 o'clock for NAGP TV. Have a good evening.